thought I'd just show this because a few people have asked about covering in the past. People seem to be really worried about it. It's actually very straightforward. Get yourself one of these. This is an iron. This is a Prolux. It's a digital one, so it's got little digital dials on there, as you can see there. And if you can see that in the light, yeah, there you go. So basically turn it on and then set the temperature to 125. That's what I have mine on. Don't spend £3 or £4 on a sock, just use a sock. This is an old trainer sock, it's clean. Yep, it's clean. Basically just tape it on there. All you want is a smooth surface there just to protect the iron from touching on Solatex. So let that warm up, that'll eventually reach, so look, that'll eventually reach 125 degrees. And when it does, that'll be ready to go. In the meantime, get yourself a bit of Solatex or Solar Trim, not Solatex, Solar Trim, and decide what you want to do. Now what I'm going to do with this model is I'm going to have the black cutting back from the fuselage to here, the whole front black, and the actual nose, or the nacelle is going to be black as well. And then the number 13 will probably go there and up here. And I'll look quite snazzy with a silver front. So that's the idea. So before I do that, I need to tighten up the old film. And as you can see here, the film is quite badly worn, stretched and all wrinkly, and bits coming off where I've cut it and stuff like that. And around there, see all the wrinkles and stuff. It all needs tightening up. So I'm going to iron all that first, tighten it all up. And then when that's done, I'll be able to add the black. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to trim back this whole bit of white off here, because this is going to be black anyway. I don't really want to have to cover over it. So start somewhere neutral, using a suitably sharp knife, and move it. He says, hopefully. So scalpels and stuff are really good for this. Yeah, scalpels and stuff are very good for this. Get in there, get the old covering off that you don't want to cover. There's no point in trying to iron down really bad wrinkles and stuff. I mean, this has definitely seen some better days. So come around and down to about there, and then take that off. The music in the background is Shostakovich Waltz No. 2. It's a nice music to work to. I don't know why I'm looking at the screen, I should be looking at the camera. Okay, so there you go. So that's ready to go. So now what I'll do, because the black's going to cover over this red here, I'm going to take it right back to here, like so. There you go. Exactly the same on the other side. When you're doing covering like this, it's all about sharp lines and contrast, nice bright contrast. When the plane's in the sky, you really want to be able to see it. I find black is very good actually for seeing planes, as long as it's contrasted with another really good colour. So like an orangey, yellow, white, and then the black really cuts it up. Okay, so that's the basic shape I'm going. So you can see these end bits now, and the rest of it, just want to tighten all that up. So rub the old iron on. Nice and hot. Temperature's at 123, almost there. Find it, all of a sudden it will just go, boom, and it'll be tight. Look at that. Tightening up like a grenadier's drum. It's worth doing this at this stage, because this is all going to add to the strength of the model and the look of it as well. So you can see all that tighten up now, all the creases are disappearing. Look at that. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And now all I'm doing, as you can see, I'm just ironing. That's what I'm doing. It's easy. It's not hard at all. People fret about it, and it really isn't worth fretting about. Just tighten up as best as you can. In fact, in the off season, if you go over your old planes, just rubbing the wings and stuff, tighten them all back up, they fly a lot better when you get back to the flying season again. It's a good little bit of maintenance to do. Okay, so it's nice and tight now. Oh, let's come off there. Okay, so that's nice and tight on that side, and I'll do the same on the other side. You may be wondering why Shostakovich is playing again. It's because I've got it on loop. So it's looping away there. It's actually my one of my favourite pieces of music. It reminds me of my wife and me when we used to waltz in our younger days. Okay, so that's all I need to do with that. So I'll leave the iron down there for a second, staying nice and hot. Coffee. So, black. Now obviously I'm not going to try and cut this piece out. What I'm going to do is take a great big piece of solar film, lay it over and cut the end off. If you're going to be tight about it with solar film, you're going to make your life a lot more difficult. So don't be tight. Expect to use enough solar film to do the job. So using a suitably sharp knife and cutting in a safe way, unlike me. Cut a piece big enough. To use. Okay, so all you do now is whenever you get solar trim, one side will have plastic that you peel off and one side won't. So basically take the edge, first of all I should say this has been sprayed and wiped down with a cloth, just using window cleaner. So basically take an edge, peel her off. Now everybody does this differently, this is the way I do it. So this is how you go. And then plop her on. Now this is the big edge here. There's plenty of solar trim on there as you can see. So I know now, starting on the top in the middle, I'm not going to make any bad errors. Very slowly tag it down the centre. So you just tag it along the centre. So now that is tagged. Okay. So that's now held in place in the centre. Then what you do is you pull it nice and tight, down coming away down the centre like so, and apply a bit more. Put another little tag in, as you'd go. Okay, now that looks like, oh my god, what's going on? It's awful. It will work out right in the end, and if it doesn't, you'll never see this video. Okay. So there you go, so there's two bits of tagging done. So what I'm going to do now, using my suitably sharp knife, is I'm going to roughly cut where I want this to be shaped. And where I'm going to leave it on a line, I always leave about 1 centimetre because this stuff shrinks. That's going to be about... So I couldn't find any scissors, so I've carried on with my infeasibly sharp knife. So I'm just basically continuing to pull the material and use the sock to gather it. I'm doing this side. Once I get onto the other side, you'll see a bit more clearly what I'm doing. I'll crack on with this side and I'll come back when I'm on the other side. Hi, welcome back. So as you can see, last night I finished off by finishing off the film, putting it on, stretching it all over nicely, using the old iron. The nacelle has been painted matte black at the moment. It's going to be painted gloss black with fuel resistant paint this morning, and I'm going to add a little bit of white to carry on this stripe, or maybe the top part, and then a little bit of white on there just to give it something. I've got some nice number 13s coming, and my trusty Muttley stickers to go back on. So hopefully that'll be it then, and then we'll take it for a fly over the field and I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. Hi guys, welcome back. Thought I'd just show you this little tip quickly on film covering. A lot of people worry about it, solar trim and the trim covering. It's really straightforward. As you can see what I'm doing, I'm carrying on the white line, but to get this really sharp edge here, I've put the solar trim on, and then all I do along the edge, I just put a bit of black trim so that it gives the impression of being super sharp, as I will now demonstrate. So just take your trim, put it on for where you want to start. Always put too much on, and then you can come back to it, trim it off, and then where that line is, follow it along with your finger. Look at that. Bob's your uncle, Sally's your aunt. You get a really nice sharp line. And everyone goes, wow, he's amazing at putting solar trim on, and you're not really, it's just a trick. There you go. But there you go. So always finish your solar trim in with a bit of edging through edge. Okay, so you can see where that's carried on now. Okay guys, so almost finished, just putting it together now. As you can see, the bottom plate is now on. That's been covered in solar film as well, and then it's held in place by 6 decent sized screws, which screw into the spruce supports, which are glued to the side of the fuselage. So there's 2 switches. One is for the ignition, because it's got electronic ignition, and one is for the receiver. So obviously they're there. The fuel, I think I'll find my little cap somewhere, so I just dropped. I've got to get more tidy when I do these sort of things, I think. I'll find it later. The fuel breather pipe is here, so that's nice and neat and tidy, I like that. And that's it really, so that's all put back on together, and that is absolutely solid. That is going nowhere. That's stronger than it was the day it was made, plus I can just pop that off whenever I want, and I can do maintenance, I can do the fuel tank, I'll change batteries, I can find any faults or whatever, take the engines out and stuff like that, really easy now. These are great models, but because they're sealed, once everything's in there, they're an absolute pain in the A to do anything with. So there you go. So that's nice, and then I've got it in the shell to finish off. I'm just going to go and finish off by blasting that with a coat of gloss. It's going to be gloss fuel proof paint, just so that it lasts a bit longer than normal. I've used normal paints before, but you get some petrol and stuff on them when you rub them and wipe them, and eventually it all starts to come off. So I'm gonna use the proper fuel proof stuff, and that will fit on like so, and it's looking quite nice, as you can see. Alright, so I'll come back when I'm finished. Cheers.